shining a light on autism and life as an autistic person. Welcome to My Friend Autism, a podcast breaking down barriers, stigma, and misconceptions around autism while increasing understanding and acceptance of the autistic community. And now, here's your neurodivergent host, Orion Kelly.
Hello. That's not a good start. Welcome, my friends. I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy. I'm all about providing validation and support for autistic people and their loved ones. And this is my podcast, my video podcast, my audio podcast. It's my bloody podcast. It's called My Friend Autism. You get the drill. You can watch it on my YouTube channel, Orion Kelly Podcast, or you can just listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Good for you. I'm proud of you. Well done. You should be very proud of yourself. Today, on this podcast, I want to talk about, I guess, this kind of narrative that I find, in my opinion, toxic. The betrayal of autism and the autistic community. This idea of the words we use and how they, in my opinion, can be harmful. So, this idea that I guess autism is a special thing, like a superpower or special needs or whatever. I don't know. I find this whole thing uncomfortable. Now, I'm an autistic person. I'm married with 2 kids. One of our kids is autistic. And I don't know. I'm just getting more and more tiresome of hearing the community refer to autism as special. Or the one that I really hate is autism is your superpower. Autism is my superpower. It's, I mean, I know that more broadly, special needs isn't just about autism. Like people that have disabilities can be labelled as special needs. I just don't like this narrative. Doesn't mean you have to agree. I think it's basically just this classic medical model of viewing disability, right? No? Okay, well, let's talk about it because I think it's toxic. And I think we can have a fresh start. And I think I can suggest some things. So let's start with the medical model, just to get some grounding here, okay? So if you haven't seen videos and podcasts in the past where I've talked about the medical model, I like to compare it to what you'd call the social model of viewing disabilities. In a nutshell, the medical model of viewing disability is through the lens of the disability. Okay, so it is the disability and the disability alone that is disabling the person. It's not our problem. It's not our fault. It's not how the town is or the buildings are or the world around us. It's the disability. That's it. That's the medical model. In addition to that, the medical model says it's up to the disabled person alone to adapt and manage their disability. Now, the social model of viewing disability says that, in fact, you don't get off scot-free, society. It actually is society, the community, that actually disables the person. So we're saying it's not just the disability that's disabling the person. It's in fact society, the community, the world that is in fact, I cannot talk today, that is in fact disabling the person with a disability through not embracing a more inclusive mindset. A good example, a basic example, is ramps for people that use wheelchairs. So having ramps is a way of saying, well, in fact, actually, we are contributing. We are contributing to disabling this person. Sure, they need a wheelchair to get around, but without ramps, we're making it hard. We're disabling them further. But we're giving them ramps, right? So in my view, the narrative around this whole label of special needs comes from the medical model. I guess my question is, why are they special? Everyone has needs, yeah? That's what my understanding was, that everyone on the planet has needs. Is that wrong? Is it just disabled people that have needs? So if everyone has needs, then everyone has different needs. So some are needs just because they're neurotypical or not disabled, and some are special. And let me ask you this. Just because the needs are the result of a disability, why does that suddenly make them special? So, for example, a neurotypical person has many needs. and they're just needs. What do you need? Oh, I just need this. Have a disability? Do you have any special needs? I just have needs, just like this guy. See what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense to me. And so just because I have a disability, my needs are now special. That suddenly makes my needs special needs. And can I just say, maybe it's just me, a lifetime of judgment and rejection has made me like this. But in this instance, do you really think, like seriously, who takes special used in this case as a good thing? Come on. Seriously. Sorry, don't mind him. He's my son. He has special needs, right? I know I'm not trying to make this a big thing, but like, do you see where I'm saying how this is toxic? Like, yeah, that means it. You mean it like this. You mean, oh, that's my son. He has special needs. They're special in a really great way. Your kid has special needs, does he? You see what I'm saying? It's not taken in a good way. It's not. Then it's not a good thing. So how does that make the person feel? This kid's got needs. This kid's got special needs. It doesn't help either party here. No one. Okay, I just don't take it in a good way. The truth is, in the case of the medical model, what it really means, what special needs, in my opinion, what special needs means in the case of the medical model is your needs are extra, unreasonable, time-consuming, financially consuming, draining, and just plain bloody annoying needs. That's what special needs means via the medical model. Because needs, hey mate, what do you need? Oh, can I get a drink? No worries, right? That's a need. You got an autistic kid? Oh, he's got special needs. Oh, okay, what does he need? Whatever he needs, I guarantee it's going to take me extra time. It's going to be bloody unreasonable. It's going to take me time consuming. It's going to be more than any other kid gets. It's going to cost us a bloody fortune. It's going to drain us all. It's just annoying. You see what I'm saying? The fact is, needs seem annoying and unreasonable to the wider community because the same community just lacks the basic understanding, lacks any meaningful, inclusive, practical infrastructure and supports in place because of a complete lack of understanding. Right? It's annoying because you don't know anything about it and you don't want to learn anything about it. God, it's so annoying having to be inclusive these days. Back in the day, we didn't include anyone. Oh, great. Let's go back there then. That seemed to go really well. I mean, you see what I'm saying? We're not talking about reinventing the wheel here, and there's not different rights. We're not saying autistic kids deserve better rights than neurotypical kids. I'm not saying that. But every kid has different needs. You start saying my kid's got special needs. His needs are special. I know what you mean by that, and I don't accept it. It agitates me. So that's how the medical model, in my opinion, views disability. It's just the disability that's disabling you. We're not disabling you. We're just doing our thing, man. You just live your life. What a load of rubbish. And as a result of that, your needs aren't just needs. They're not different. They're special. Why are they special? Because they're so bloody annoying. That's why they're special. So that's toxic. It's patronizing and toxic. I hear people refer to autistic people, right, as special, or autism as a superpower. It's patronizing. I don't think it's anything but patronizing. They're not special. They're different. You don't call your autistic kid special or has a superpower. What are you setting them up for? Will they fly? Because the last time I checked, Superman is a superhero with superpowers. And your child cannot do what Superman can do because your child's real, right? And coming from someone who is obsessed with superheroes and loves Superman, I don't say that lightly, okay? I just can't help but hear special as bad. And the bottom line is autistic people or people with disabilities, right, of any kind, don't have special needs. We have needs just like you have needs. Everyone's needs are different. It's like saying preferences and tastes. So your tastes, you might like this type of food, not that type of food, right? and that's just your preference. But if I require a certain type of food, it's a special need. What the hell are you talking about? It's a dietary requirement for you. My wife, she's neurotypical, but she has celiacs, right? Like the celiac disease, she's not one of these people that just do the low gluten diet because they think that's going to help them. It's not. It's actually bad for you. If you don't have celiac disease and you're having like this low gluten diet, it's actually bad for your body. Anyway, whatever. But the point is she has to. But that's not called a special need. She calls them dietary requirements. They're even on forms. They haven't put on forms. Any dietary requirements? Right? I'm an autistic person to be like, any special needs? You see what I mean? It's like different rules for people. Oh, man. Disabled or not, no matter who you are, we have needs and they're bloody different. Like my neurotypical mate who has no disabilities needs to play golf every weekend without exception. Needs to. That's what he does. That sounds pretty bloody unreasonable to me, I'll be honest with you. That sounds pretty bloody annoying to me. Sorry, you're saying every weekend, regardless of the fact you've got a family, every weekend you've got to play golf? That sounds really unreasonable. That sounds annoying. Oh, sorry, actually, I've said the wrong thing. That sounds special. Oh, you've got a special need, do you, to play golf every weekend without exception? Oh, that's a special need. To him, that's important. Why? Okay, mental and physical health. He may work all week, right? And he may need time to do these types of things for his mental and physical health. No worries. Needs are viewed in subjective, right? Needs are viewed in a subjective sense. It's impossible to view someone else's needs in a truly objective sense. How can you? How can you view someone else's needs objectively? You can only view them subjectively through your own experiences and lens, right? You can't view someone else's needs free of judgment and preconceived ideas and social norms. You can't. It's not possible. I just did it myself. So this dude wants to play golf every weekend. It helps him. I just think, well, what? But you're married with kids, right? You realize that you're a dad and a husband. Maybe you want to go ahead and do the family thing on the weekend. You're gone for a day to play golf. I mean, I'm sure that's great for you, but what about your family, right? So I'm judging that need subjectively, not objectively. His wife may think it's the best thing he should do because it gets him out of the house, it keeps him happy, it helps the family. You know what I mean? But there's no way of doing it in that objective way. From my point of view, to be really clear, I believe that that as a rule, for the most part, parents, carers, partners of autistic people use terms I'm talking about in good faith. Right? I'm just saying, as an autistic person with an autistic kid, I'm going through this experience a lot. I'm starting to feel really icky about this. So I'm not saying you've done anything wrong or you're doing anything wrong. It's your deal. It's your life. You do you. I'll do me. I'm just saying this is what I'm starting to, I guess, get to the opinion of, right, the realization of. So no issues. I'm not blaming you. It's totally fine. I'm just asking you to just listen. Just have a listen to what I'm saying. Consider the impact it could have on the autistic person in your life who may be a kid. Because many medical terms have changed. Haven't they? Over time, things change. Why? Okay, well, they change because of standards. Standards change. Back in the day, we didn't need to be inclusive. That's right. But we have better standards now. They've evolved to actually incorporate humanity into the workplace, into buildings. That's one reason. Well, we also know more. Knowledge. Science and medicine evolves. We know more about pretty much, presumably, every disability on Earth we know more about. We know more about things that we still know little about now. Autism, in other words, a different brain. You couldn't have picked a worse part of the body to try and understand, the brain. So knowledge has become far more advanced than it used to be, but we're still nowhere near where we need to be to understand the brain. And then we've got to talk about preferences. So over time, things change for different reasons. Standards, knowledge, preferences. And also too, from the time when I studied some law, and I'll keep saying it because I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I dropped out of law school with a couple of units to go. I loved it, but I just couldn't do it anymore. It wasn't fit for purpose for an autistic person, and it was, die or leave. But you'll hear this from any any low-level lawyer, not a barrister, any low-level lawyer who's going to go into, say, the lowest form of court, magistrate's court for a criminal law case, the first thing they're going to say is, Your Honour, the community, does not accept this behaviour. We acknowledge the community doesn't accept this behaviour, right? You don't make excuses for a client. The community acknowledges, this behaviour is not accepted. We acknowledge that. We accept the community does not accept this behaviour, right? That's a preference that's changing over time. You see what I'm saying? The community no longer accepts the idea that it's just every man for themselves. This is all words, but this is what I'm trying to explain to you. So that's why I get bogged down in words. I'm autistic. It is what it is. But it's common practice now that we actually use terms that are very different. Terms like intellectual disability, or there's even a new one, intellectual developmental disorder. Now, what would we have used in the past? I'm just going to get you to say them in your mind. I'm not going to say them out loud. Someone who had an intellectual disability, even an intellectual developmental disorder, what would they have been called? Not only just by you and people around you, the community, but even by doctors back in the day. Certainly not words like that. Certainly in today's standards and preferences and knowledge, pretty bloody horrible words, right? Do you agree? So people that use a wheelchair, right? What would we call them in the past? What would have been openly used in the past to describe different disabilities? Horrible terms, right? Stuff you feel I'm not even going to say. See, that's what I'm saying. See, special needs is no different. So there's certain things we don't say anymore. Oh, okay, so you have an intellectual developmental disorder as opposed to your blah, right? Okay, cool. So you have a kid who has special needs. No, we don't say that anymore, mate. That just seems stupid. What do you mean special? What's special about it? What, because they're harder or more annoying? No. We have individual needs, different needs, individual needs, like anyone with a disability. Individual needs, different needs. This is the other thing. You're not a parent or a carer of a special needs autistic kid or autistic person, right? You're the parent of an autistic child, an autistic person, who happens to have their own individual different needs. That's the other thing. You see what I mean? It's like, I'm the parent of a child with special needs. No, you're the parent of a child. Seriously. The last part is true for everyone on the planet. Right? So you're the parent of a child and they have different needs. That's every parent on the planet is the same. My brain doesn't make me special. My brain makes me different. That's in my opinion, that's the difference. And I can only give you my experiences. I'm going to talk about superpowers now. But from the point of view of the medical model and how we look at special needs and how we use it, I get it. I understand the argument. Orion, you're overthinking it. It's just something to say. Okay, but have you listened to anything I've just said? I'm just expressing my thoughts and feelings. So they're special because it's me, but this kid here just needs, and there's no worries about his needs or her needs, but this kid, special, right? No. Now, again, I take it in good faith that any autistic person or the parent or carer or partner or friend or family member or whatever of an autistic person has used the idea of a superpower, autism and a superpower, or ADHD and a superpower in good faith. I get it. Actually, in fact, I've had an argument, not an argument, sorry. I've had a discussion before with someone who, a mate of mine who, I've done content with and is an awesome guy. And he talks about how, his disability is in fact like a superpower. And I once said to him, I'm sorry, but I just don't get your premise here. I said, okay, so, this medically diagnosed disability that you have, does it make your life easier, harder, or is it no different to everyone else's? He's like, well, there's clearly, It's clearly harder. I clearly have daily challenges. Like I have a medically diagnosed disability. Right? Okay. So the idea that, sure, your life is different and maybe you think your life is way better than it would have been. Okay, but the idea that you acknowledge that your life is harder. Day-to-day life is harder if you have some form of disability. It doesn't matter what you do with your life and how you view it. It doesn't change the factual reality that if you do not have a disability, as a rule, in general terms, your life is going to be easier day to day because you don't have something disabling you. So what do you mean it's a superpower? What are you talking about? Right? Superman has the ability to fly. He doesn't. It's not like he was given a power where it disables him from being able to walk. It doesn't make any sense. So, all right. The portrayal of autism as a superpower. And again, this may be controversial and you might really hate this particular topic in podcast, and that's cool. They're not all going to be winners for you, but it doesn't mean I'm going to not say what I think is important to say and start a discussion. So I apologize. I don't apologize, but I apologize. Again, I believe that, you're all taking it in good faith. I'm cool. I am not blaming you for using things that I don't agree with, but I need you to understand something. So being autistic, yep, sure. It provides you with individual strengths, but it also provides you with individual challenges. That's just factual. Being autistic, and I've looked through the diagnostic criteria and I've studied myself and my son, and I can confirm autism does not provide you with superpowers. Believe me, I'd know. If I had them, I'd be the first to use them. Do you think I'd be here if I had superpowers? Superpowers come from fiction. Superpowers are things that superheroes have. Superman, he's got superpowers. The dude can fly, guys. He's basically bulletproof. Except for that stupid, bloody, horrible movie where Batman somehow was able to kill Superman. What a load of crap. Stupidest, worst movie in the history of movies. By the way, I'm tainted by this because I love superhero movies. And the fact they made a movie where Batman killed Superman, it was an utter outrage. It's horrific. What a stupid premise. So it killed my dreams. A part of me died that day I saw that movie. Seriously. Give us a spell, mate. Superman is an actual superhero from a different planet. He's actually got superpowers. You see what I'm saying? Batman doesn't. Yeah, Batman killed Superman. Oh, yeah, sure. No, he stabbed him with a thing. Yeah, whatever. What are you talking about? Batman, right? Batman is more autistic than Superman. Why? Because people say he's a superhero, but guess what? He doesn't have any powers. Batman's superpower is money. He's rich. That's his superpower. He's just a dude using what he's got with his individual challenges and strengths, mostly money, to do what he believes in. Is there anything? That's autism. Superman, superhero, superpowers. Not an autistic person. Batman, a dude that wants to be a superhero but has no superpowers, just rich, doing the best he can. The fact that he's got no superpowers, lots of money, challenges, strengths, doing the best he can to do the best in life. That's more like an autistic person than Superman is. I want to be Superman, by the way. I don't want to be Batman, but in reality I am. I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Booyah. That's the Lego. I think I did the Lego one there. I don't have any superpowers. I've got individual challenges, strengths, and needs. Autism is not a superpower. For goodness sakes, what are you talking about? It's a medically diagnosed neurological developmental disorder, disability, condition, whatever word works for you. If you're asking me, I hate disorder. I'm not too fazed about condition, but frankly, I think it should be what it is. It's a medically diagnosed disability. What kind of disability, Orion? Neurologically developmental. A neurodevelopmental disability. That's what it is. It just is. That's in legal words, that's what it is. Whatever words you want to use, cool. Basically, the entire narrative, the entire portrayal of autistic people right now in 2024 still comes from an outdated, patronizing, endlessly damaging medical model. And speaking for myself only, trust me, if I think I had superpowers, I'd use them. But let me say this. If you think me being autistic means I have superpowers, I'm giving them to you now. Take them. If you think me being autistic means I've got superpowers or autism's my superpower, if you think my day-to-day life is a superpower, you can have it. I don't know how you're going to get it, but take it. Suck it right out of me now. I'll hold, please. Go. Take it. Have you got it? You can have them. I don't want them. I don't bloody want them. What are you talking about? I don't want... If this is my superpower, I don't want it. You take my superpower. You know what I want to take? I want to take being accepted. I want to take being understood. I want to take being appreciated. I want to take the world to stop rejecting me and accept me for who I am, an autistic person, a different person. That's what I want. Take your superpowers, mate, and just give me the slightest bit of acceptance and understanding and appreciation. That'd be bloody amazing. Because frankly, I'm looking around, champ, and I can't see any of that. And you're telling me it's my superpower. It's my superpower to suffer? That's what you're saying? My superpower is to suffer through life with a medically diagnosed disability, feeling rejected, hated, outcast, bordering on depression, right? Feeling horrible about life till I die. And that's a superpower. What planet did you come from? That's not a superpower. I'm an autistic person. I've got different challenges, I've got different strengths, and I've got different needs, just like everybody else. Mic drop. I can't because it's expensive and I don't want to break it. But you see what I'm saying?
My Friend Autism with Orion Kelly. Catch up on all the episodes at orionkelly.com.au.
As always, you guys are amazing. Thank you for sitting through my rants and my fury. I apologize if I've offended. I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to help autistic people, validate, support autistic people and their loved one. That's all I'm trying to do. So thank you so much for being here. What do you want me to talk about? You can always put it in the comments, okay? Just tell me the topics. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear the topics. And I just really do appreciate you supporting my podcast channel, Orion Kelly Podcasts. And until this next podcast, thank you so much for being here. We'll talk soon.
You've been listening to My Friend Autism with Orion Kelly. To join the conversation, get in touch with Orion and binge all the podcasts, blogs and videos, visit orionkelly.com.au.